Oluchi explained to Ugo that there was a special reason behind her pregnancy. Ugo's own mother-in-law had placed a curse on her out of misunderstanding. Once upon a time, in the faraway village of Arolo, there lived a kind and talented woman named Ugo. Ugo was expecting a baby, her belly round and full of life. But her happiness was shadowed by sadness because her husband had passed away just 6 months after she became pregnant. Despite this, Ugo wasn't alone. She lived with her mother-in-law, who took care of her as if she were her own daughter. Every day, her mother-in-law would say kind words and gently touch Ugo's stomach, telling her, "You're going to give birth to a wonderful child." These words were a comfort to Ugo during a time of both joy and sadness. Ugo was known throughout Arolo for her extraordinary skill in making beautiful clothes and shoes. People from all around visited her to see and buy the lovely things she created. But, as is often the way, not everyone was kind to Ugo. Some people were jealous of her talents and her kind heart, especially because she always had a smile for everyone, no matter what. This made them talk behind her back and not in a nice way. Despite the mean words, Ugo didn't let it bother her. She loved making children laugh and giving them little treats whenever she could. Her kindness made the children love her a lot. They would play around her, and some would even help her with small chores just to be near her. Ugo didn't have a lot of friends among the adults, but that didn't matter to her. She focused on her work and on spreading joy wherever she went. Her heart was as big as the sky, and she believed in being nice to everyone, even those who weren't nice to her. This is the beginning of Ugo's story in Arolo, a tale about kindness, magic, and the power of a good heart. It's a reminder that being kind and loving can make a big difference in the world, even when others don't understand you. Then, as weeks turned months and months into a year, with Ugo's pregnancy crossing well over 12 months, which had never happened before, something very bad happened to the village of Arolo. The rain stopped coming, and the rivers and streams began to dry up. Crops couldn't grow, and soon there wasn't enough food for everyone. This made everyone very scared and sad. As things got worse, some people in the village started looking for someone to blame for their troubles. They started saying mean things about Ugo's 12-month pregnancy and her unborn baby. They thought that her baby was cursed, and that's why the famine was happening. This was very unfair, but when people are scared, they sometimes say and do unfair things. Ugo felt very sad and alone because of this. The friends she thought she had turned their backs on her. Now, when she walked through the village, instead of smiles, she got angry looks and harsh words. But in all this darkness, there was a little light. A young girl named Amma didn't believe the mean things others said about Ugo. Amma saw Ugo's kindness and decided to be her friend. When everyone else stayed away, Amma helped Ugo with her chores and kept her company. This friendship was very precious to Ugo. It reminded her that even in the hardest times, there can be kindness and love. So, even though the famine made life very hard and many people were unkind to her, Ugo was not completely alone. She had Amma, and that made all the difference. It showed that even when things look really bad, there can still be hope and friendship. As things in Arolo got even harder, the village elders made a very big and sad decision. They decided that Ugo had to leave the village. They thought that by sending her away, the famine might end. This was very hard for Ugo to hear. She had to say goodbye to her home and all the children she loved, especially her dear friend Amma. Before she left, Ugo met Amma one last time. Amma was very sad and didn't want Ugo to go. She said she would miss Ugo's smiles and the treats she brought. They hugged, and it was a very sad goodbye. This showed Ugo how important her kindness was to Ama and the other children. Alone, Ugo walked into the wilderness, a place full of unknowns. She was scared and sad, not just for herself, but for her baby too. As she found a place to rest, feeling more alone than ever, something incredible happened. A beautiful woman appeared out of nowhere. Her name was Oluchi, and she said she was a river goddess. Oluchi told Ugo she was here to help her and her baby. This was a big surprise to Ugo, but also a comfort. It was like the world was telling her she wasn't alone after all. Oluchi's visit was the start of something amazing. She had come because Ugo's kindness had touched the heart of the river, and now the river wanted to help her back. This was a big moment for Ugo. It showed her that even when people turn their backs on you, nature and kindness can still find a way to support you. In a quiet part of the forest under Oluchi's watchful care, Ugo experienced something amazing. She gave birth to her baby. Just as her child came into the world, the sky opened up and rain began to pour down. It wasn't just any rain. It was a powerful, life-giving storm that spread all the way to Arolo, ending the long, harsh drought. This wasn't just a mere coincidence. Oluchi explained to Ugo that there was a special reason behind her pregnancy. Ugo's own mother-in-law had placed a curse on her out of misunderstanding. Ugo's mother-in-law, beneath her kind and innocent face, harbored a deep sorrow and a grave misunderstanding. She believed Ugo was responsible for her son's, Ugo's husband's, untimely death. In her grief, she thought she was seeking justice by placing the curse, not knowing the real truth of her son's fate. But Ugo's goodness and her kindness to others, especially to the children and even to strangers, had called for divine help. Oluchi, the river goddess, had been sent to protect Ugo and her baby, turning what was meant to harm them into a blessing instead. The baby was more than just a new life. She was a sign of hope and a promise of better days for the village. Oluchi told Ugo that her child was destined to bring good fortune and prosperity back to Arolo. The baby was to fulfill a legacy that had been forgotten, a legacy of peace, prosperity, and unity for the village. After the miraculous rain and the birth of her child, Ugo, with her baby, now known as the goddess girl, decided it was time to go back to Arolo. The village had changed a lot since she left. The rain had ended the famine, but it also brought windstorms and other challenges. These hard times made the villagers see things differently. They began to understand how important it was to be kind, to work together, and to have faith in something bigger than themselves. When Ugo walked back into Arolo with her baby, the villagers couldn't believe their eyes. They felt many things at once: surprise, guilt for how they had treated her, and a kind of respect they hadn't felt before. They saw how strong Ugo had been, facing so much trouble, but still carrying so much love in her heart. Ugo's journey had taught her a lot. She had faced loneliness, fear, and rejection, but she never gave up. Instead, she became stronger, filled with love and a deep understanding of life's mysteries. And her daughter, the goddess girl, was a living symbol of all that Ugo had gone through. She was a sign that even in the darkest times, there can be light and hope. The villagers welcomed Ugo and her daughter with open arms this time. They saw that Ugo's kindness and her daughter's birth had somehow brought them all together and made their village a better place. Ugo forgave her mother-in-law, and the goddess girl grew up to be a symbol of hope for Arolo, showing everyone that with a bit of kindness and faith, the future could be bright and full of promise. This final chapter of Ugo's story is a beautiful reminder that no matter how tough things get, There's always a way forward if we stand together and support each other. It tells us that love, resilience, and a little bit of magic can change the world, or at least our little part of it. I hope you enjoyed the tale. If so, please like the video, share it with your family and friends, comment on it, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell for more enchanting tales like this one. Goodbye.